Hello, boys and girls. Undertaker Freak 1127. For those of you that consider yourself metal fans, first of all, I'm reading the Encyclopedia of Heavy Metal here. It's turning out to be a really shitty representation of metal bands. But even worse than that is something I've just uncovered in the Encyclopedia of Heavy Metal. The Insane Clown Posse is in the Encyclopedia of Heavy Metal. They're not even music. They don't even deserve to be put in the category of music. And you put them in the category of heavy metal? Then I realized this book was written by a bunch of dipshits from Sterling Publishing, so what can you do? Hello, boys and girls. Here again, and I'm here to tell you that it is a little bit darker in this video because we are under tornado watch, and I hope it rains like hell. I want to see some thunderstorms. I am itching for some bad weather, and I'm tracking these storms on my new forecasting program that I just downloaded called F5. So if any of you are as big a weather nerds as I am, you should go look for F5. It gives you in-depth detail, lifted indexes, capes, vortices, wind shear, all that good stuff to placate the average weather nerd like me. So anyway, with this video, I'd like to discuss one of the videos I uploaded a few days ago about gay marriage, where I basically said that I'm all for gay rights and gay marriage, and I asked within that video, I asked people to give me a reason, without using God, without using the Bible, to give me one reason, any reason whatsoever, as to how gay marriage can impede your ability to live your life. How gays getting married, a guy and a guy, a woman and a woman, them getting married, would affect your life in any way, shape, or form, or fashion. And you know what? For the most part, people said no, it doesn't. I got generally positive reviews, except for the typical douchebags using bots to dislike my stuff. However, there was one person by the name of Reggie Killabeast who I had a very lengthy debate with. It was almost impossible to talk to him because he was clueless, completely clueless, who was telling me that gay marriage affects him directly because gays spread AIDS. Gays are the cause of AIDS. They spread AIDS, and thereby, if you get AIDS, that directly affects your life. Let me start by saying, first, you actually have to get AIDS for it to affect your life. Or, like most people, someone in their family gets AIDS. That directly affects your life. Speaking of that, the only way you can get AIDS is to actually have unprotected sex or share blood with somebody who has AIDS. So, if you are dumb enough to have unprotected sex with somebody you do not know, you don't even know their medical history, and you end up getting HIV, which leads to full-blown AIDS, you know something? Maybe you deserve the disease you get. And it's not his fault, even if he didn't disclose it to you. If you, the person, you have responsibility to. Gays do not have to share all the responsibility when it comes to sex. If you choose to get into bed with someone and have unprotected sex with them, guess what? You're just as guilty as they are. So that whole gay spread AIDS thing, I understand. The statistics show, I'm not going to argue, that gays carry AIDS more than anybody else. But heterosexuals can also get AIDS as well. And there are other means of getting AIDS as well, like sharing needles and blood transfusions on top of the normal sex. So stop making gays a scapegoat for it all. And the only reason I'm picking these comments out is because this is the one that was closest to the reasoning that I was looking for. The reasoning of how gay marriage affects their lives. This is the only person who gave me, albeit convoluted, reasoning how gay marriage affects his life. You know what? He failed. In one comment, he says, that's like saying child molestation should be legal because it doesn't affect me. That's a typical radical Christian response right there, using something that has absolutely nothing to do with the subject matter at hand to justify something else. Sensationalism. Child molestation has nothing to do with this argument. You have to think of everyone, not just yourself. What if your dad was gay, you'd never be born? Then I'd never be here to even discuss something like this, you fucking idiot. Gay spreads AIDS, sodomy is abomination. Sodomy is abomination. Sodomy is abomination. Sodomy is abomination. That is something he tried to drive into my head with each post he would make. Sodomy is the act of anal intercourse, and in terms of rape, it is rape that includes anal penetration. He kept using the word sodomy. Again, sensationalism, using spooky language and sensationalized words and euphemisms, when he could have easily said anal sex. And how is it abomination? Because of God? Didn't I ask you to give me reasoning that was not from God or not from the Bible? Didn't I say that in the video? Were you not listening? But I humored him anyway, and this is the kind of stuff I got. Let's see where we are here. I'm all for equal rights. I would let a black man stay at my house, but I would not have sex with him. Again, what does race have to do with this? Why do you keep sensationalizing each and every fucking thing I say? You don't have to bring in race to this. And what does a black man staying with you and you not having sex with him have to do with gays getting married? You are a complete and utter moron. Just because something exists don't mean it should. Yeah, like God. If you believe God exists and you see that tornado that just swept through Joplin and the tornadoes that might sweep through here later, yeah, you start to wonder whether or not God actually exists and will let things like this happen. Just because something exists don't mean it should. If that is your final justification for why gay sex should not, or gay marriage should not be legal, let me let you in on something. HIV actually originated from SIV, simian immunodeficiency virus, to HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, which can transgress into full-blown AIDS. It came from monkeys. And here you are acting like it came from AIDS. They found the first case of AIDS, of human AIDS in a gay person, sure. But don't sit here and tell us that the whole disease as a whole came from gay people. It had to come from somewhere, and it just so happened scientists have pinpointed that it came from monkeys. So if you want to direct your misguided anger towards something, direct it towards the monkeys. The chimpanzees. Well, they said it wasn't chimpanzees, it was actually monkeys. But direct it towards them, okay? You see, I don't get this kind of stuff. He goes on and says, I wrote a paper on AIDS a year ago, and you're way more likely to get AIDS if you're gay because of sodomy. Actually, you are way more likely to get AIDS if you have unprotected sex with somebody that you don't even know. That is where it comes from. Common stupidity. And sometimes blood transfusions in hospitals that go awry, but for the most part, it is common stupidity. You know what? It's Darwin in action. If they die from it, that's fine. It's Darwin in action. But you know what, Reggie Killer Beast? We have the entire wrong thing going here, because ignoring the fact I asked you not to use the Bible and God, you have this distorted view that gays are not supposed to have any rights because they perpetuated AIDS upon the species. Look, AIDS cannot be transmitted through I will let someone with AIDS sit here by my side and cough on me all fucking day. You know what happened to me? Not a goddamn thing. Unless he had the flu or a cold, not a goddamn thing would happen to me. You know why? Because what he would have to do to give me AIDS is take a needle from his own arm and stick it in my arm and forcibly put that AIDS-ridden blood into me. That's what would happen. So you saying gays are the cause for all this? Sure, they carry the disease, but the people who get it are dumb enough to get in bed with them unprotected in the first place. That's what you kept missing. And that's what I said 20 or 30 times over to this guy. You need to realize you are way, way, way more likely to get AIDS if you sodomize a man or a woman. Acting as if the person who receives the sodomy has no choice. If it's rape, I understand. But if it's consensual sex, which it normally is, and you get AIDS, you're just as much at fault as the person who is having sex with you. You see, and the reason I'm talking about this so much is because this is a very common, very, very common ideal with a lot of people who are against gay marriage. This is something they use to justify the fact that gay marriage should not be legal. All this right here, and it really pisses me off because they are basically making them the scapegoat for the entire thing, just because the first case came from them, even though I think it was 18% of heterosexual people have AIDS. Or the makeup of AIDS, excuse me, is 18% heterosexual. So while the makeup is more gay, I cannot stress this enough, I'll say it one more time. You, the person, make the decision to get into bed with that person against all of your better logic and better judgment and have sex with them, and you get AIDS, and you wonder why you got it. You cannot blame anybody but yourself. Mr. Reggie Killer Beast, if I may say, this argument I had with you was one of the most just mindless arguments I ever had in my entire life. The fact that you took everything I said and brought in things like child molestation and race and sodomy and things from the Bible to sensationalize your points and try and get some kind of upper hand. You know what? That's just... I actually got a few good laughs out of it, so I appreciate the laughs. But, yes, but you're not getting the point. Many gays get drunk and hook up at parties and such. Now, a drunk person ready for sex probably isn't going to wait for a partner or go get an STD test, and the other person may not show any signs of the disease. It doesn't matter. They show no signs of the disease. If you refuse to have unprotected sex, or ask them about it, or figure out their history. Or how about just not having sex with random people? How about that? Try that one on for size. Not having sex with just random fucking people, maybe, just maybe, you wouldn't get the disease in the first place. So this is a very typical common thing for a lot of people who are against gay marriage. It's not just because of the Bible and all this shit. It's because they actually think that gays are the worst scum of the earth because they perpetuate HIV and AIDS. Well, you know what? I have had many, many gay friends in my life. I've had many, many lesbian friends in my life. And you know what? Not a single one of them had HIV or AIDS. And all of them agreed with me that if someone else were to get AIDS from them, they would be just as much at fault as a person who they had sex with, even though they would fully disclose with that person what was going on. So, it's just a whole lot of bullshit. I lived in Texas for 3 years, and I heard this all the time. If it wasn't the Bible, if it wasn't God says it's wrong, it's gays carry AIDS. Well, normal people carry pink eye. Would you murder them if they gave you pink eye or something, or gave you a cold? There are many virulent diseases out there that can be spread from person to person that many people just don't give a shit if they give other people, yet they still go out into public and touch things and cough and wipe their noses and spread it all over things without any care whatsoever. So why don't you go after them, too? People who are spreading flu and colds. I mean, every year we get a new fucking disease in this country the media can manipulate for their own personal gain, like swine flu, which is no different than a regular flu, so start going after them, too. But since AIDS is such a huge disease, you have to actually have sex with the person to get it. So, I'm done ranting here. I'd just like to exploit how stupid this person is and carry on my way. Undertaker Freak 1127. Have a good day, folks.